folks, back for some more Third Age. One of the things I don't think I've talked about yet in this game are the names. You've got this fellow, Barathor. Barathor in Sindarin means bold eagle. You've got Elegost, which is either star tower or elf tower. The roots for elf and star are very similar because the elves call themselves the people of the stars. And then you've got Idril, which is a little more obscure. There's a character in the books called Idril, who her name basically means like shimmer or brilliance. Idril, I'm assuming, is a takeoff on that. I don't recognize what the second root is, if in fact it's anything. As we've established, they don't care too terribly much about accuracy in this game. And a little bit later, we'll meet another name that is laugh-worthy. Just you wait. And we cross this bridge and find nearby enemies. Yep, we already figured out that the glowing Palantir is telling us trouble's a-coming and you can't get away from it. Leaf of Old Toby. There's stuff in... Ooh, it's a dank, dark cave. And I'm sure it's going to be full of wargs that we need to kill. Yup. A starving lesser warg, as opposed to a well-fed and chubby greater warg, or would that also be a lesser warg? I'm overthinking this, aren't I? Ow! This might finish him. Yes! Do my dance, do my dance. And was that the last of the... Yep, all warg packs destroyed. Well, let's level up Barathor here. See what else is in this festering hole full of wargs. Why look, a chest in the most ridiculous of places. You'd think they would long since have used it as a chew toy. But that would make sense, and this is an RPG. Although, as you guys may have noticed, Gorgoroth Ash. What is that doing here over 1,000 miles from Mount Doom? I really don't ask that much. Just that things be in places that make sense. Oh, and here we are, back where we were before. We've closed the circle somehow. And I think that if we run down here, we'll come back to... Yep. Now we're back up under the bridge. Come on, when do I learn Wounding Strike? No treasure. Dang. Okay. So let's save our game. The Karathras Bridge. Okay, save complete. Now let's see if we can figure out skills. Here we are. I want to see how close Idril is to learning. She's going to learn Weakening Slash. She's almost there. Then she'll learn Wounding Strike, which is the fun one. Let's see. What are people learning right now? Shattering Strike, yeah, that's a good one. Although, lowers the armor value. Okay, we'll go with that. We'll go with that for time being. Lightning Arrow Flurry. Yeah, that's a twofer. That's a good one to learn. So you can kind of adjust, you know, which skills they're going to learn next. Because sometimes there are ones that are especially good for certain foes that may be coming up. But it's one of those things where if you don't already know the game, you won't necessarily know what you'll need next. And you can kind of work yourself into not a place where the game is unwinnable, but a place where you'll have to do quite a lot of level grinding to make it through. Alright, blind cul-de-sac there. But like I was saying, yeah, you'll notice that despite this being an RPG, I call it that because that's really the genre it's obviously trying to be, but it's ramrod linear. There are no choices to be made here. You are just running around doing exactly what the game tells you in the order it tells you.
Place, Ranger. I will tell you. First, we must make our way to one of the elves' healing altars.
What? Elves healing altars? In case you didn't hear it, that was the sound of me slapping my forehead. Tolkien deliberately did not include much in the way of acts of worship in his work. The elves did have a special relationship with Varda, who's kind of like a high-order angel of light. She was the one who was the special creator of the stars and all the other heavenly lights, so the elves really had an in with her. But there is a god of Middle-earth, Ilúvatar, the One. He is outside and beyond Middle-earth and rules all things, and he's the only one that really ought to be worshipped, but... Huh? Oh, yeah.
Yes, we did shelter here from south, but when over there, his spies spotted us miles away. But we pressed on, forsaking the easy southern route for the more dangerous passage over the mountains. But the White Wizard held other plans, and that route was denied us.
So yeah, as you can see, this is supposed to be the same site where the Fellowship camped in Fellowship of the Ring, the movie. So we are supposedly barely behind them. And as you can see from our quest objective, we're supposed to follow them all the way up into Moria, which we're not far from. What's that, you said? Between Rivendell and Moria, there's several hundred miles. Why, yes, you're correct. The game doesn't care. But yeah, really the only one who should be the recipient of worship in Middle-earth is Ilúvatar, the One, who is essentially God. The Valar are kind of like his angels. They are his will in the world. And... oh, wait, why are there more stone trolls here? This is hundreds of miles from the... Stop thinking, Kim. Stop thinking. Play the game. And we're about to get beaten up. Oh, but first we get things. First Age Lothlorien Ring of Spirit Warding. Troll Pit Mud. Well, we'll just shove that somewhere and put on the ring. Although in this series that's not always a good thing to do. Don't go putting on strange rings, kid. Especially not in Middle-earth. Medic Ward. Oh, we're right next to a save point so we can use our powers with abandon. Hopefully get him up a little bit higher. Troll pit mud. Are you sure it's mud? Probably best not to think about that too much. Woohoo! XPs. XPs. XPs, please. Just commit the changes. And so yeah, the Valar are kind of like archangels. And they actually do things in Middle-earth. Iluvatar is more distant and remote. But he is God. And Tolkien, really the only worship that we see in Middle-earth that is good worship, there are hymns sung to the angel Varda, or Elbereth as she's also called. But the only good worship done by men is given to Eru Iluvatar. Men go wrong when they start worshipping things other than him. Like Sauron. Yeah, they actually do that in the Second Age. Well, you know how it is, humanity's screwed up. They'll worship all kinds of crazy stuff. Anything but what they oughta. And here we go. Climbing on up this way. Oh, hey, looky. Another save point. And of course, before we can get to it, we gotta fight for it. Oh, we've got a guy. See that guy way up high? The only thing that can hurt him is Elegost and some of Idril's spirit powers. So let's use this other one that we haven't gotten to use yet. But you saw it in that opening. This is where she calls the water horses. Because it's magic, she can hit anyone with it. And he's down. Okay, Elegost. Let's have at this guy. Man, these orcs are weenies. It's hardly worth it. And stay down. Go run back home to your mama spawn pit. That's one of those mysteries of Tolkien, is how orcs reproduce. Again, probably best not to actually think about it, but if you want to think about it, because you're a nerd like me, there is an awesome book called The Science of Middle-earth that theorizes how various ways in which orcs might have reproduced. And one of those theories is actually that all orcs, whatever they look like, are in fact female. Yeah, and the buzzer is telling me you don't want to think about that either. I don't blame you. So, since we've just saved, this is a good place, actually, to call it for today. And I will see you back here later for more Third Age. Go home and have nightmares about orc sex.